Alright, so on our web server machine, we are going to start a web server by starting WAMP server 64. And we see all the services are running. So now we can open up our web browser and go to our website, which is pickup-truction.ca. And here we are. So by default, we can see all the available listings. So the search feature here lets you filter out specific trucks based on any combination of manufacturer, model, color, and year. For example, if we're only interested in Ford trucks, we simply select Ford from the drop-down menu and hit search, and the listings get dynamically updated to reflect our search query. So now we can continue to narrow this search down. So let's say we want to see all the Ford F-150 XLTs. And now only the trucks from the year 2014. And finally, only trucks in the color white. So there we go. You can see any combination of search will work. And what's cool about the search feature is the model drop-down box. By default, there are no options available until you select a manufacturer. So if we select Toyota, only the models of Toyota are listed. And if we select Chevrolet, only the models of Chevrolet are listed. Alright, so if we try to search without selecting anything, a dialog box pops up and warns us that nothing was selected and no search was carried out. So now let's see what happens if we search for a truck that does not exist in the database. So we're going to search for a GMC truck and hit search. And as you can see, there are no trucks listed. So what we're going to do is actually create a listing for one. Alright, so before we actually add a listing, we're going to take a look at the database table. So right now there are only 16 listings. So we're going to go to the add listings page. And since this machine has no access to the internet, I'll find and grab a photo from the host machine and transfer it over to the web server. So we are going to search for a GMC Sierra 2500 HD 2018. Go to images, save this to our desktop. Alright, so now I'm going to drag the image from the host computer to the web server. And there it is. So back on the add listings page, we're going to select GMC as a manufacturer. The model is Sierra 2500 HD Denali. The color is black and the year is 2018. So now we select the file from our desktop and hit add. A dialog box pops up to let us know our listing has been added. Alright, so now if we go back to the main page and scroll all the way down, we can see our newly added truck. And now going back to the database, we can see that the new truck entry is right at the bottom as well. Alright, so now we're going to remove the listing we just added by going to the remove listings page. And the way to remove a listing is by the vehicle identification number. So we have to go back to the main page, take a note of what VIN number the newly added truck has, which is 19. Back on the remove listings page, we select number 19, hit remove, we get a confirmation box, hit OK. Back to the main page, all the way down, and now the truck is gone. So what happens is that the truck is gone from the website, but the information is still stored in the database. So if we refresh our database one more time, the value of the listing is changed from a Y to an N. So the website only displays trucks that have a listing value of Y. So when you add a listing and upload a photo, the photo actually gets saved to an image folder on the web server. So originally we uploaded it from the desktop, but if we go into the folder where the website is stored, we can see the image is now in the folder. So back in the database, the way the image is stored is it just keeps a reference of the image path instead of the actual image. Alright, so taking a look at the code here, this is the main index page. So the way the drop-down menus work is that we query the actual database. So we grab both the ID and the name from the manufacturer's table. But on the website, when you select from the drop-down menu, you actually see names. But when you hit search, it's the ID that's being used to grab the information from the database. So what happens with the model drop-down box is that by default it's empty. When the manufacturer value here changes, it calls a function called getModel, which populates the model drop-down box. So what this does is call a script, and it passes through the manufacturer ID that was selected. And then in the script, it grabs that manufacturer ID and it selects all the models that have that manufacturer ID, and it returns the values back into the main script, which then get displayed in this drop-down menu. So this here just grabs all the trucks from the database and displays it on the main page by default. Once you carry out a search query and hit the search button, a function is called that runs the search script. If nothing is selected here, you're going to get a warning that tells you nothing was selected, and then nothing happens. The script will just exit. So there is an if statement for every possible combination, and there are a few search variables. Search M is for the manufacturer and model, search C is for the color, and search Y is for the year. So if a manufacturer and or model are selected, the search M variable is updated to store that information. If a color is selected, the search C variable is updated to store that information. And if a year is selected, the search Y variable is updated to store that information. Then there is an overall search variable, which combines the other three search variables, and it is the one that is used in the database query to make sure we are selecting exactly what was chosen from the drop-down menus. So here is the Add Listings page. This part here checks to make sure that all of the drop-down boxes are filled out and that an image was selected to be uploaded. If something is missing, it will give an error and let you know that not all the fields were filled out, and the script will exit. So if all the fields were filled out, the image is going to get moved into the image folder where the website is stored, and an insert statement is carried out that creates a new listing and adds the appropriate values into the database. A dialog box pops up letting you know that the listing was successfully added. So on the remove page, here's just a check to make sure that a number was actually selected. And if it wasn't, it's going to give you an error and the script is just going to exit out. And here, if a number was selected, it's going to update that truck's listing value from Y to N, since only trucks with the listing value of Y are the ones that show up on the website. So by setting it to N, it will not show up in search queries, but still allows the data to remain stored in the database.